Hi, this is Stacy with Lily Bean Crafts by Stacy. Welcome back, and if it's your first time, thanks for stopping by. We're getting ready to go into the holiday season, and let's face it, we're all busy, and sometimes we don't have a lot of time, and we really want to put together a nice tumbler. So it was a 24-hour challenge that I gave myself because that was all the time that I had to put together a tutorial, and I was able to pull it off. So I wanted to show you how I did it. I'm starting off with a 20-ounce skinny that I got from Maker Flow that I already cleaned, prepped, sanded, and spray painted with Skinny Dip from Colorshot spray paints. And I'm going in with a new glitter that I got from Chase Rae Creations. It's called Moonlight. I started off with covering the tumbler with my glitter glue, and I just used my little brush that I got from the dollar store to apply it, and I just gave it full coverage of the Moonlight glitter. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to take it and roll it in my parchment paper because I just want to make sure that it's all sealed and pressed down, because the reality is I don't have a lot of time, so I don't want to have to do a bunch of coats of epoxy. So I'm just going to set that down, let it go for like 3 hours. I did take it outside and I just spray painted it with my clear gloss Rust-Oleum spray paint because, once again, I didn't have the extra couple of hours to seal it with my glitter glue and let it sit. So after about a half an hour, I went and I'm putting on my first coat of epoxy. I'm applying 20 mLs of my Flynn Sisters Fast Set epoxy, giving that full coverage. And I wanted to make sure I really got it good because, once again, I don't want to have to do a bunch of coats. So once this one was done and dried after 3 hours, I did put another layer of the epoxy on there, just 10 mLs. I didn't need a lot of it. And I let that go for 4 hours, and then I immediately went in and started working on the decal. And this is a decal that I got from 311 Co. And I love working with semi-transparent vinyls. This is a mixed floral pattern that she got from Rustic Passion Studios, which is one of my favorite artists when it comes to floral designs. And so I just decided that I was going to keep the whole vinyl sheet as one piece and use the hinge method, because normally when I apply semi-transparents, I normally like to cut out each individual flowers. But this time that wasn't the case. So like I said, I am just going to go in and I cut it about a little bit more than half the size of the tumbler. And I'm going to go ahead and measure it out and trim it up and then go ahead and get that applied. If you haven't done so yet, come check out my Lily Bean Crafters community Facebook group. And here I'm going to cut just a small piece of the backing off of there, just so that I can do the hinge method to apply this as easily as possible. And I'm going to take my big squeegee that I got from the Bowen and use that to roll this out. It is the quickest, easiest way to apply it without any bubbles or any flaws on it. And then once I have this all rolled out, I decided that I wanted to add more of the semi-transparent vinyl down on the bottom portion. I wanted to make a stripe in the middle so that I can give it some detail work on there. And so I'm going to go ahead and then trim out the size that I wanted for the bottom piece. I couldn't find my tool that I use for cutting out the straight edge, so I'm just going in with a piece of painter's tape, cutting it to where I need to get it so that it's not overlapping. I'm going to trim that really carefully and then just pull off the extra little strip that I cut off of there. I decided to cut a piece of the semi-transparent, like I said, for the bottom, about a quarter of the way up the tumbler, just so that I can add a little bit more to this. I really wanted to get as much of this floral design on there as possible because it was just so pretty. And just like the top piece, I'm going to go ahead and trim this all up and make this as quick and easy for me as possible. Challenging part, figuring out what colors to use for my trim that's going to give me the most pop with this tumbler. So I decided to just go with a maroon permanent vinyl, and I cut out some stripes on my Cricut. And I'll go ahead and list in the description exactly what sizes I did on these. So I cut out 4 pieces here, one for the top, one for the bottom, and then 2 to, really create the dimension with this stripe in the middle. And then I'm also going to go and add some striping to the back where the seam is. I just didn't like the way the 2 pieces came together, so I went ahead and I covered that up as well. And I'm also going to cut like a really thin piece of the maroon and put it in the center of this stripe section that I have of just the glitter, just to give it a little bit of extra pop. Also decided to do a thinner piece of the maroon striping on the back edge where the 2 pieces of vinyl came together. They just didn't match up that great, and I just wanted to cover it up. So I decided to go with this like purpley pink holographic vinyl that I got from Tech Wrap Crafts that I bought on Amazon a few months ago. I'll link it in the description. I was originally going to go with like a champagne textured, and I just decided that because I had the champagne glitter on there, I didn't want to overdo that color tone. So this really seemed to work well and bring everything together. So I just made some smaller strips than the maroon and covered over it. And I'm just taking my time here and making sure that I get all of the detailing done to get this project set and done. I do recommend putting a little bit of clear nail polish over any holographic, like the edges, because they have a tendency to lift when you go to epoxy, and that will prevent that and make your process so much faster. And now I'm going in with 10 mLs of my fast set epoxy. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry for 4 hours. Then I went in, cleaned it all up, sanded any parts that needed to be sanded very carefully. You want to be careful on the holographic vinyl. And then I went in with another 10 mLs of fast set epoxy. Because of the time crunch, I just worked with the fast set. If you have a little bit more time, I always like to shine a little bit more when you use the Flynn Sisters regular medium viscosity epoxy. It just works so much more beautiful, but it takes like 8 to 10 hours to dry, and that wasn't what was available to me. One of the reasons why I did this tumbler was because we're getting to the season where you're not going to have a lot of time, and this just goes to show that you can whip out some stuffs really quick for the holiday season. And this is what the final product looked like. It turned out so pretty. I love how all of the elements came together, and yes, you can make a beautiful tumbler in a short amount of time. And if you like this tutorial, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see everybody again next week. Bye-bye.